Ben, what kind of criminal penalties are we looking at?
Well, it's a little bit unclear. This was a very high-level statement of principles that the Democrats are going to proceed from as they develop privacy legislation. But we have seen a proposal from Democratic Senator Ron Wyden that could send these executives to jail for knowing willful violations of a legal duty. So there are a lot of prongs to that. But basically, you knew it was against the law, you meant to do it, you told someone to do it, and then it was actually against the law, something you were actually supposed to do. So there are a lot of prongs to that. It's not necessarily that executives would be going to jail every day, but it's something that would be hovering in the background as a sort of incentive to keep right with the laws. A lot of these are sort of rhetorically aimed at Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg. A lot of Democrats say if he'd faced these sorts of incentives, the company wouldn't have had so many problems with the FTC over the years.
I wonder how Democrat and Republican ideas on this differ.
They differ quite significantly. As you can imagine, Republicans don't like the idea of sending big company CEOs to jail pretty regularly. They don't like the idea necessarily of state attorneys general enforcing this, although there's been some compromise there. They don't like the idea of consumers suing to enforce privacy rights. That's something else that Democrats said really needs to be on the table and part of any conversation in this statement of high-level principles. But I think it's worth saying one place that they largely agree or have agreed over the last year in my reporting, that's on giving the FTC the ability to fine companies for a first violation across a range of violations. That's something they don't have now, and for the most part, there's actually bipartisan agreement on it.
And so, Ben, to be given a penalty, a criminal penalty, you would have to knowingly break the law. What are some of the other issues you would have to do to get this criminal penalty?
So again, it's a relatively high-level statement of principles, but you're going to be looking at the Democrats wanting to allow consumers to, say, opt out of data collection or opt out of data sharing within a particular company. So you wouldn't have that situation where you collect information maybe to improve the product and then it goes to advertising. And so if you have executives knowingly, willfully violating that, and again, that's the Ron Wyden model. That's not necessarily what these principles are saying, but that's the one we're kind of looking at. You might have a situation where the FTC comes at them and says, hey, we kind of have a lever over you here. You need to come and work with us a little bit. And I think that's what the companies are really worried about, is the government having that lever in negotiations.